Previously, the player wakes up as a skeleton knight called Ark and instantly realizes that he is lost. He goes to a nearby town in search of a job and soon embarks on a journey through a fantasy realm, slaying monsters and meeting new friends. He befriends an elf named Yariana and helps her rescue kidnapped elven children from an evil lord. They continue to work together and she takes Ark to her village, where he meets the older elves. The next morning, Ark wakes up alone with Glenys as Yariana and her father have left to meet the elven elders. In the elven city of Maple, Yariana and Dylan enter a vast hall where the meeting is being held. Meanwhile, Glenys is showing Ark around La Toya until she suddenly asks Ark if he would like to train with her. At the elders meeting, the elves are discussing the humans' breach of the agreement by conducting a slave trade. They conclude that they will not apologize to the humans for Yariana's attack on Triton. Trying to avoid war with the humans, they will simply continue to free the enslaved elves while waiting for the reaction of the kingdom of Rodhen. Back in La Toya, Glenys wants to test Ark's strength to make sure Yariana can trust him. Ark agrees to her proposal and they start fighting. Glenys immediately gets serious and attacks Ark with incredible speed, causing him to quickly fall to the ground, saying that he is an amateur. She begins to teach him sword fighting. As they return from the meeting, Dylan tells Yariana that his sister is getting married next year. Yariana is surprised, thinking that her sister only cares about fighting. Suddenly, she herself appears and runs towards Yariana, hugging her. Even says it's true that she's getting married and asks Yariana if she has anyone she likes. Yariana hesitantly denies it and even says that she won't let her marry anyone weaker than her. In La Toya, Ark is fighting Glenys, improving but still losing. After Dylan and Yariana return, everyone gathers in their homes. Dylan tells Ark and Yariana that the elders need them to continue rescuing the kidnapped elves and investigating the people involved in the slave trade. In exchange for their services, Dylan tells Ark about a spring that can break any curse. The spring is near a giant tree called the Lord Crown, which is a type of tree that grows where a guiding lord resides. Yariana says that she could get Ark permission to access the spring without being in danger. Even though his curse was something he made up, Ark wonders if he really could be cursed. Alone in bed, Ark tries to cast a spell to break the curse on his arm and manages to turn it back into the arm of a normal human for a few moments. He concludes that he really is affected by some kind of curse, although he can't break it by himself. The next day, Ark and Yariana head to Olav in search of the people mentioned in the slave trade contract. Elsewhere, Yariana gets on a bus with Ferna, preparing to leave for Limold. In a building in the distance, someone is watching them. Traveling through the forest, Yariana and Ark are attacked by a pack of wolves. They are haunted beasts capable of creating illusions. Using different spells, Yariana manages to break all the illusions and kill some of the wolves. Ark sees the leader of the pack in the distance and tries to attack him, but the wolf dodges. Ark sees a strange black ring around the wolf's leg, similar to the one he saw around the giant basilisk's leg. Surprising the wolf with a fire spell, he cuts off the ring and the wolf pack leaves him alone. In the same forest, Yariana is traveling towards Limbo. Suddenly, his carriage begins to shake violently. A moment later, someone gets in and kills Yariana and Ferna with a sword. Turns out that some of the soldiers protecting Yariana have conspired with a gang of mysterious hooded men to kill her. The leader of the hooded men receives Yariana's necklace as a reward. Suddenly, Ark appears. While the hooded figures attack him with spells, he inspects the corpses of Yariana and Farna. Suddenly, the same pack of haunted wolves as before attacks the hooded figures, helping Ark, who defeats most of the attackers but some of them flee. Returning to Yariana's body, he casts a regeneration spell on her and manages to revive her. He also revives the rest of the murdered people and flees before they notice him. Upon waking up, Yariana begins to believe that she has received God's blessing to continue her journey to Limbo. Later, Ark and Yariana finally enter the city of Olav. Walking through a shopping district, Ark sees a familiar face, the ninja girl he met earlier. Her name is Chiom and she belongs to the race of beast people. Ark introduces her to Yariana and they settle down in an inn. Chiom asks Ark and Yariana to help her rescue her companions who have been kidnapped by humans. In return, she will give them more information about the people listed in the slave trade contract. Inspired by Chiom's determination, Yariana and Ark agree to help her. Somewhere else in the city, Dakars is furious. He has discovered that Yariana survived the attack on her carriage and wants to stop her from trading with the elves. It is revealed that he is the one who is using black rings to control monsters for his own evil purposes. Both the elves and the beast people have recently been fighting more actively against the slave trade that is damaging Dakar's business. As Dakar's fears for his life, his assistant assistant, Citrian, advises him to go to a safe house. When Dekars leaves, we see Citrian holding Yariana's necklace, implying that he is working for someone else. Through a while, Ark, Ariane, and Chiom arrive at Etsit Market, Olaf's largest slave market. As Etsit is an important location for the entire slave trade, Chiom expects reinforcements to show up as soon as they attack it. The ninjas intend to attack 4 other slave markets at the same time, so Chiom wants Ariane and Ark to cause a stir in Etsit and draw attention to them. With a distraction like that, the slaves from the other markets will be able to escape. Ark puts on a scary mask he bought in town to stand out even more when he provokes the fun. He also brings a big, scary man-beast called Goman with him, and they start the operation. Ark and Goman storm the front gate, alerting all the guards and fighting them off. However, using powerful rock-based magic, they go overboard, destroying a large number of buildings in the market. As most of the guards are dealing with Ark and Goman, Ariane and Chiom manage to sneak into the building from the back. Inside the building, some guards notice them. Ariane fights them using her flaming sword, and Chiom uses her water-based ninjutsu. Reaching an underground dungeon, they free some of the trapped slaves, telling them to free the others and fight if they can. As more guards attack, Ariane stops them while Chiom continues to free the slaves. Ark and Goman rise from the ruins they caused when they met up with Chiom and Ariane. After freeing all the slaves in one of the buildings, they attack the next building at the back. While Goman stands guard, the others enter the building, fighting off the guards on the way. Finally reaching an underground dungeon, they free all the kidnapped beasts. Leaving the dungeon, they lead all the slaves to one place and teleport them out of Etsit. While Ariane and Chiom lead the beast people to safety, Ark returns to Etsit, joining Goman. Together, they defeat the rest of the guards with overwhelming force. In his safe house, Dekars is outraged at what has happened to his slave market. As he turns to leave the room, Citrian stabs him with a sword, killing him. Sect enters the room, placing Yariana's necklace next to Dekars' body, saying that they are going to announce that Yariana was killed in a scheme arranged by Dekars. He exclaims that the throne of the Rodhen Kingdom is now his. Sometime later, Yariana arrives in Limbolt, a trading city. She meets her sister Seriarna, who is married to the Duke of Limbolt. When Seriarna says she thought she had been killed by Dekars, Yariana concludes that Sect is behind it. He has also made everyone think that Dekars himself was killed because he caused a stir in Olaf. Yariana asks her sister to keep the fact that she is alive hidden so that she can meet the elves in secret. Before returning to her hidden ninja village, Chiom tells Ariane and Ark that she has discovered that several enslaved elves have been taken to the Revlon Empire. After separating from Chiom, Ark and Ariane decide to go there. The Bleak Palace in Revlon, Emperor Domitianus, a red-haired man in military uniform, discovers that Dekars has been killed by a sect and that Princess Yariana is dead. Turns out that Domitianus was supporting Dekars, and it was he who gave him the black rings he used to control monsters. Sometime later, traveling through a rocky desert, Ark and Ariane see a group of wanders flying in the sky. Ariane's messenger, Bird, is afraid to fly because of the wanders, so Ark casts a lightning spell, scaring away all the wanders but accidentally shocking his friends as well. Sunset, Ark and Ariane arrive in a town and stay in an inn. Ariane is worried because capturing elves is not illegal in the Revlon Empire, making it dangerous for her to go there. An elf with green hair and glasses approaches them and introduces himself as Karsi. Even though he is an elf, everyone in the inn is friendly towards him. He explains that he has lived in this human city for 10 years and thinks that elves and humans can coexist. Ariane disagrees, but realizes that she herself is traveling with a human. Karsi says that he is studying the biology of monsters, and realizing that Ark and Ariane are strong, he asks to hire them to capture a monster for him. When he offers them a map of the Revlon Empire as a reward, they accept the job. The next morning, Ark and Ariane leave the inn and meet up with Karsi and his friend. Taking 2 horse-drawn carts, they travel into the desert. Karsi wants to capture a sandworm to learn more about it, since sandworms have been killing the townspeople recently. Suddenly, Ariane notices that the wagon Karsi's friend was driving has disappeared and a gigantic sandworm emerges from the ground. Ariane spots the crashed wagon and attacks the worm with her flaming sword, but doesn't hurt it. Before the worm can attack Ariane, Ark stops it with one arm. While Ariane saves Karsi's friend, Ark grabs the worm and manages to throw it to the ground. As he defeats it, we see a black ring disappear from the worm's body. Later, they bring the worm's body back to the city, and Karsi gives Ark and Ariane the map of the Revlon Empire. Continuing their travels, Ark and Ariane arrive in the city of Kasig, in the Revlon Empire. This is the city to which Chiom said the kidnapped elves were brought. Ark learns about strange screams being being heard from a fortress in the east and monsters appearing at the edge of the city. Yariana has heard about a fortress where the elves were brought 4 months ago. Together with Ark, she infiltrates the fortress and manages to enter the building where the elves are supposedly hiding. Defeating some guards and entering through a gate, they find empty prison cells. Upon discovering a large underground chamber, they smell blood all around them. Suddenly, a man with a tattoo on his face named Fumba appears. For no reason, Yariana attacks Ark, who is surprised but realizes that Fumba has somehow brainwashed her into attacking him. He tries to cast spells to break the curse on her, but they do not work. At the same time, Yariana sees an illusion where she is fighting with her sister, even in the forest. Thinking she is fighting even, she is unknowingly attacking Ark in real life. Blocking his attacks, Ark realizes that there is a black imp hiding in his hood. Ordering Ponta to remove it, he kills the imp with a fire spell, breaking the illusion and causing Yariana to faint. Fumba arrogantly approaches Ark, telling him that he is a sorcerer who can control monsters and summon a huge white tiger against him. Ark asks Fumba where the kidnapped elves are, and Fumba tells him that they all died from being used in the Empire's magical experiments. He also says that he personally tortured and killed some of them. Laughing at this, enraged, Ark cuts off the tiger's head with one blow. Fumba summons several gigantic monsters, but Ark easily kills them one by one. As the monsters continue to appear, Ark continues to kill them. When an orc appears behind the unconscious Yariana, Chiom appears out of nowhere and kills the orc with a water spell. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake. Fumba begins to laugh, saying that his strongest monster has awakened. Inviting Ark and the others outside to challenge him, he leaves the lair. Chiom and Ark, who is carrying Yariana, exit the lair, seeing a giant hydra controlled by 5 black rings. The hydra fires a powerful blast of water at Ark and the others, seemingly killing them. Fumba goes berserk with power, using the hydra to exact revenge on all who have slighted him and letting it advance towards the city. Ark and the others emerge from the rubble, revealing that Ark saved them with a shield spell. Yariana heard what Fumba said about the elves and is extremely angry. Ark wants to stop the hydra from attacking the city, so Yariana and Chiom go after Fumba while he deals with the monster. As the hydra approaches the city, Ark attacks it from the ground with a flying sword slash. Dodging the hydra's attacks, he attacks it using different abilities. Summoning a gigantic sword from the ground, he apparently ends up cutting off 3 of its heads. Even though the hydra regenerates all 5 heads, Ark does not give up hope. He summons Ifrit, a giant fire demon with horns. Elsewhere, Yariana and Chiom encounter Fumba. He summons a bunch of imps, but Yariana kills them all before they can reach her. As Fumba tries to summon another monster, Chiom interrupts with her throwing knives, destroying the marks on his back. She realized that those cursed marks allow him to control monsters, so now he can no longer do so. The now defenseless Fumba tries to apologize to Yariana, but she doesn't listen and burns him to a crisp with a blast of blue flame. Elsewhere, Ifrit brutally defeats the hydra, giving it no chance to fight back. The hydra tries to flee, but Ark grabs its tail and throws it into the air. Once in the air, Ifrit fires a huge blast of flame at it, completely destroying the hydra, thus Ark, Yariana, and Chiom having defeated the villains once again. When Yariana receives a message from Donka, he tells her that Yariana met with Lord Frangas, one of the elven elders. She promises him that the Rodhen Kingdom will help search for the kidnapped elves to atone for their crimes. She also proposes that the Elven Kingdom support her in becoming the next queen because Sect has the support of the Revlon Empire, where slavery is legal. In exchange, if Revlon invades the Elven territory, the Rodhen Kingdom will help defend their lands. Ark casually removes his helmet, startling Chiom with his royal face. He asks if he could visit her ninja village sometime, and she agrees to show him around one day. Even though Ark still doesn't know how or why he was transported to another world, he decides to simply continue enjoying his adventures for a little while longer.